If you learn to master these 16 techniques for graphite, I promise your drawings will reach new heights. Graphite is an intriguing art medium, rich in techniques, which are essential for any beginner graphite artist. As graphite has no color, our primary focus shifts to the techniques we apply to establish a strong contrast and achieve a three-dimensional effect along with a variety of textures. Each of these techniques has its own approach, and I will take each one at a time and explain them in this tutorial. Technique number 1 is called hatching. Hatching is all about using lines, lots of them. You can put them close together or spread them around, depending on what vibe you are going for. The way you draw these lines and the angle you choose will affect the shading style. Throw in more lines in one spot and voila, it gets darker. Mix up how close or far apart they are and you've got a smooth fade from light to shadow. And here's the cool part. How hard you press with your pencil changes things up too. Go easy and you get lighter lines. Push a bit more and you've got some dark, bold ones. It's like your shading remote control. Full range. From light and breezy to bold and mysterious. Play around with it and you'll be a hatching pro in no time. Technique number 2. Cross hatching. Alright, so cross hatching is when you draw a bunch of X's on your paper, but they aren't just random. You overlap them in different directions to make things interesting. Now, where those X's cross and overlap, things get darker and cooler. Here's the trick. The more X's you add, the darker it gets. This method gives you a whole range of tones and shades to play with. Oh, and don't forget, if you leave some spots blank without any X action, those areas stay lighter. That's like keeping the spotlight on certain parts of your drawing and make it pop. Technique number 3 is called contour hatching. Contour hatching is like giving your drawing some stylish lines that follow the curves and shapes of whatever you're sketching. It's all about highlighting the natural flow of things. So why do we do it? Well, when you use these hatching lines along the edges of your subject, it's like giving it a cool 3D effect. It's like we're playing with light and shadow to make our drawing pop and feel more real. And the secret is making those lines flow with the shapes you are drawing. It's like contouring makeup, but it's for your art. Technique number 4 is called Scumbling. Scumbling is like doodling with your pencil in a fun, relaxed way. No strict lines, just going with the flow in random circles and strokes. Why is this technique so great? Well, Scumbling is our go-to move for creating those soft and gentle shadows. Think of it like a makeup blending brush but for your drawing. It's perfect for smoothly transitioning between light and shadow without any harsh lines. This technique is also the master of softening edges between different tones. So, when you want your drawing to go from one shade to another without any abrupt changes, Scumbling is your hero. Plus, using this technique to create shadows is also very relaxing. It also gives your artwork a chill, atmospheric feel. Technique number 5 is called Stippling. Stippling is like creating art with a ton of tiny dots instead of lines. Imagine your pencil is doing a happy dance, dotting all over the place. So with stippling, you're not drawing lines or shapes, you are building up your shading with the help of all these little dots. And the closer you put them, the darker it gets. Spread them out and it lightens up. It's like making a whole picture out of a bazillion little dots. This method is awesome for creating cool textures and shading without any smooth transitions. It's a bit like pointillism, where artists use dots to build up an entire image. So grab your pencil and start dotting away. Technique number 6 is called scribbling. Scribbling is like letting your pencil go on a spontaneous adventure all over the paper. No rules and no plans, just wild freeform lines that come together to create some artistic chaos. Picture this. Instead of carefully crafting lines or shapes, you are scribbling all over the place. The more energetic and random, the better. It's like letting your pencil dance freely on the paper. Scribbling brings this energetic vibe to your artwork. It's fantastic for creating expressive and abstract drawings. You might not know exactly where your lines are going to take you, but that's the fun part. Technique number 7. Blending with blending stamps. A blending stamp looks like a tightly wound paper stick. When you use it, it's like giving your drawings a smooth makeover. Here's how it works. Rub the stamp gently over your pencil work. The stamp picks up the graphite and starts blending the lines, creating a soft, seamless transition. It takes away any visible pencil strokes and makes everything look super silky. You can control how much blending you want. Light blending for a hint of softness, or go all the way for that dreamy velvety finish. What's awesome is that the blending stamp lets you control the texture. Want just a bit of texture? No problem, just blend slightly. Want everything super smooth? Go for it, blend away. Technique number 8. Smudging with fingers. Blending with your fingers is like turning your hands into art superheroes. No tools, just the power of touch. Start by doing your thing with the pencil, lay down your lines, shadows, and highlights. Let the pencil create the initial magic on the paper. Then, by using your fingerprints, gently smudge and blend the graphite on your drawing. It's like your fingers are giving the pencil work a soft massage, making everything cozy and blended. And the nice part is that you can also control the blend. Do you want a subtle blend? Just lightly tap and smudge with your fingers. Are you craving for a bold dramatic effect? Press a bit harder and let those shadows and highlights merge. Blending with fingers is your ticket to seamless transitions. It smoothens out any rough edges, creating a harmonious flow between different tones and textures. And there is no need for fancy tools. Blending with fingers is giving you an instant gratification. You're literally using what you're born with to transform your drawing into a masterpiece. Technique number 9 is layering. Imagine layering in graphite like painting with pencils. You start with a light base, then keep adding more layers to bring out the shadows and the details. Think of it as giving your drawing depth. You start with the basics, then each layer adds more richness and texture. It's a bit like building up flavors in a delicious dish. As you add layers, you can control how dark things get and where the highlights pop. If you mess up a bit, no worries. You can erase and tweak things as you go. It's all about experimenting and, most important, enjoying the process. Technique number 10 is called highlighting with kneaded eraser. Highlighting with a kneaded eraser is like being an artist with a magic wand. Seriously. So you've got your drawing, right? Now grab that soft, stretchy kneaded eraser. This eraser isn't like your typical eraser. It's more like clay. You can shape it into whatever you want. Gently tap or dab this magical eraser on your drawing. Wherever you touch, it lifts off some pencil, revealing bright, beautiful highlights. It's like you're sculpting light onto your paper. Play around with the pressure, soft pressure for subtle highlights, and a bit more pressure for brighter spots. Oh, and if you want crisp, clean edges for your highlights, just pinch the eraser into a point. It's like having a tiny spotlight to brighten up your artwork. Highlighting with a kneaded eraser is very easy and adds that extra pop to your drawing. Technique number 11. Negative drawing. Negative drawing is like being an art ninja. Instead of drawing what you want, you draw around it to make it stand out. Imagine your subject is like a silhouette and you're sketching the space around it. With negative drawing, you sketch the background around the subject, kind of like creating its shadow. It's like your drawing is doing a reverse dance, making everything pop out naturally. You use the pencil to carve out the shapes around your subject, making it come to life without actually drawing the thing itself. It's a bit like drawing the anti-picture, and the magic happens when your subject emerges from the background. Technique number 12. Back and forth strokes. Back and forth strokes are like coloring with your pencil. Imagine your pencil is having a dance party on the paper. You start by making strokes going one way. This technique can also be helpful to fill in fast large spaces more evenly and gives your shading a smooth blended look. It's easy, fun, and kind of therapeutic as well. Technique number 13. Contour lines. Contour lines in shading are like drawing the bumpy, curvy lines that follow the shape of whatever you are sketching. This is similar to the contour hatching method. It's like giving your drawing an outline that's full of life. These lines hug the shape, showing off its unique form. It's kind of like highlighting the natural bumps and curves of your subject. Contour lines give your art that extra pop, making it stand out and feel more real. Technique number 14. Grid drawing. Grid drawing is like turning your art into a giant puzzle. Easy, fun, and super cool. Here's the deal. You divide your drawing into smaller squares using the grid lines. Then, you look at your reference picture, which also has a grid. It's like having a treasure map that guides you. Now, instead of tackling the whole drawing at once, you focus on one square at a time. It's like putting together a puzzle piece by piece. You look at what's in that small square, draw it on your paper, and then move on to the next square. Before you know it, your drawing magically comes together and you've created this awesome masterpiece, all thanks to the power of the grid. It's like turning your art into a fun game of connecting all the dots. Technique number 15 is called circular shading. Circular shading is like giving your drawing a little twirl with your pencil. Instead of sticking to straight lines, you are making tiny circles all over the place. It's a bit like making mini whirlpools of shading. You start light and then press a bit more to get darker circles. It's as simple as that. This technique is great for adding a smooth, blended look to your drawing. You can use it for backgrounds, shading larger areas, or just to add a touch of artistic flair. And technique number 16 is called selective sharpening. Selective sharpening is like giving your drawing a makeover, focusing on the parts that need extra clarity and definition. Picture this: you've got your trusty pencil, but instead of sharpening the whole thing, you are picking specific areas. It's like turning your pencil into a precision tool for details. This technique is all about choosing which parts of your drawing need that extra attention. For small details, use the pointy side of the pencil, and for large and less detailed areas, use the wider side. This way, you have all you need without constantly sharpening your pencil. And with that, I've covered and explained all of the 16 important graphite techniques for beginner artists. If you want to see more videos from me, I would love if you join my subscribers community. If you want to be notified every time I post a new video, just click that bell button. It's as simple as that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you in my upcoming videos as well.